Hi guys, welcome back to DAT. In this video today we're going to be taking a look at the Rekon Nano 3. I cannot wait, guys. So here she is, guys. Here's the Rekon. We're going to do a quick unboxing now. So this is exactly how she came. Let's get her open. First things first, you get this battery indicator. So obviously we're going to go for one of these standard batteries here. And this has to go in a certain way, and they obviously make it very clear that you have to put this battery in the correct way, as you will ruin the flight controller or your electronic components. It will short it out. So make sure if you've got this, you follow this guy, stick the battery in the correct way. They're shouting about that, so it's not their fault if you ruin the actual quad. So here she is, packaged in the foam, nicely cut out foam. Let's just get this out of here. And there she is. So basically it's just a box and a couple of extra bits. We'll go through the extra bits very shortly. There is the actual quad itself, the Rekon3. And she's very nice. I really like her actually. She's really light. Look at the size of that. It is basically a battery case. You're basically flying a battery, aren't you? That is all you are doing. And it is very minimalistic. So we'll go over that in a second. Let's see what else is in this box. You've got two sets of props, so that's nice. Two sets of props in there. Pack of bolts, so there's the bolts. More foam protection. Fly safe card. What else? Just some pass certificate. Instructions about your flight board and the actual VTX as well. Very handy, English and Chinese by the looks of it. It's very useful. Stick that to one side. And some very nice stickers. So that is it. Very minimal stuff because it comes ready-made. Apart from sticking the propellers on, we are good to go. So here she is. Let's quickly go over some specs for you. Let's just talk a little bit about her. Obviously, first things first, she flies on these 18650 batteries. You can pick these up pretty much anywhere. Do try to go for a high quality one though. It'll give you a better life, better usage and better flight time really. They keep on going on about you have to get this battery in the correct way. Your battery should have a clear plus and minus marked, and they have clearly marked. This little green symbol or green TPU in there is actually the positive. So this is the positive, this is the negative. Do not get it wrong because you will ruin your quad and probably won't be able to fly. You'll probably fry the board and stuff like that. Make sure you get it in the correct way. Plus, minus. Very simple. There you go. So let's carry on, and you've got the motors on here. These are the 1202.5 size motors, and they are 11600 kV. They obviously support the 3-inch props, which we're going to stick on shortly. The weight of this craft, she is so light. She is 62.5 grams, and that's with no battery. We'll get some scales up here shortly, and we'll weigh the whole thing with battery and props on and everything like that. Size of her, she's 140 mil, and they say 140 mil is just basically motor to motor, not including the props. The board in here that you're flying on, it's a Zeus board. It's also a Zeus VTX. The VTX is apparently does up to 350 milliwatts, so that it should be pretty good. We'll obviously find out. The board itself, it's an all-in-one board, so basically that's your flight controller, that's your ESCs, everything going on there. 5 amps, and it's an F4. Also on the board, it does actually support Wi-Fi connection. So you can use your SpeedyBee app and you can actually configure it on your phone on the go in the field rather than lugging the laptop around. So winner of my competition, that thing is going to come in useful if you get one of these. It's also got a built-in microphone, which is quite nice actually. A lot of these don't actually have built-in microphones like the Hawks don't, but this you'll be able to get a microphone, plug it in and hear it on the go. It's quite nice to hear them on the go. So that's a quite nice feature as well. Motors on the board, they're all plug and play. Hopefully you can see that, so you can actually unplug them and swap out the motors. Pretty simple, no soldering required. The battery case is actually part of the design. I think it's really ingenious, it's really nice. So basically what you're doing is you're flying around a battery and you've stuck a camera on it, and basically the whole design is brilliant. Dave C, who designs these, if you haven't heard of him, I'll link his channel down below. Please do check him out, subscribe to him, give him all the thumbs up and the credit he deserves. He obviously did the Flywheel Explorer as well, and he does lots of other things for Rekon as well. This is a lovely craft, full credit to Dave C, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, I really like this. And this is obviously Crossfire. We've got a Crossfire Nano going on in here. We're going to connect this up very shortly as well, and that'll be really simple to do. I've heard this may get in the way of props, but I don't think it will. I'm going to leave it just down here and hopefully it'll be fine. So yeah, that's about it, guys. That's about all I've got to say about that. Oh, the actual camera itself, it's a Caddx Nano Ant. Never used one of these little ants before, so we'll see how that is. We'll obviously stick some footage up very shortly. So that's it, guys. I think she looks absolutely super. Really like the look of it. It is light as anything. You're way under your 250 grams. The battery, yeah, you're going to be way under. Like I said, well, I'll get the scales up and we'll actually check it out. But that, I think she's beautiful. I can't wait to give her a flight, to be honest with you. So we're going to stick some props on this now, and one thing to point out, I have done a Propeller video, Propeller installation video before, and this is actually configured with props out. So it's actually the other way around to my actual installation video. So the installation video I did, you just basically have to reverse it, and the props will go down rather than in. Very simple. We'll do that right now. Get our propellers here. They only go on one way, and you just make sure that the angle points out rather than in towards the quad. So very simple. So down and out. Just reverse it. Oops. So that's it. So get the ends to ends, and obviously they point out. On my installation video they point in because that is normal, but these actually spin the opposite direction, so it goes out. I'm going to get these all connected up now, all tightened up with the bolts, and I'll be right back. There we go, propellers all on in place. I meant to actually specify what propellers these are. These are the Gemfan Hurricane. They're the 3018-2, durable 2-blade, 2mm, 3018, clear grey, 4L4R. I know you like the details, so there you go. That is what the propellers are that go on there. Then there they are, all in place. So, like I said, make sure if you put these on, you put them so that they actually go out rather than in. There we go, because they actually do spin the opposite direction to what a normal installation is. So, propellers all in place. She's starting to look the part, or the business. We're going to connect this up. What we're going to do is we're going to stick a USB cable in. We're going to connect it up to betaflight because the actual USB will power this. It'll power up the Nano, so I can actually configure it and connect it to my Crossfire controller, or my Tango 2 if you prefer. So we're going to do that now. It should be a very simple process, and we'll just fire straight through that. So before we get started, what we're going to do is we're going to power up the Tango 2. We're going to duplicate a model on here. If you're unsure about the Tango 2, I've done a full video about this. Please do check it out. I always point to the wrong side. It is up in the corner in that little eye icon for information. Do check out the other video. It is very useful, or I've heard it's very useful. So please do follow it along if you're having problems with your Tango 2. So here we go.
Welcome to Tango 2.
Big hair on that for some reason. All I'm doing is I'm selecting the wheel, pressing model select, but I'm going to basically duplicate one of my models, which actually saves me from creating another one. So all the switches and the things I use are actually in this duplicate, and it will work. All I have to do is connect it to the new Nano now, and the binding process for the new Nano is so simple, it is so painless, and this is why I love the Tango 2. What you can do though is you can actually change the name of it. So over to page 2, I'm just going to change the name of this on here. Hopefully you can see this. You might not be able to, so bear with me. I'm just going to call this Nano, I think. There we go, Nano is what I'm going to call it. So there we go. So that is there, ready to go. Now we're going to connect up the actual quad itself, and it's got the USB port is actually there on the bottom. They've left it cut out for you, so let's just stick it in. There we go. And there you hear betaflight. We're not going to get into betaflight yet. What we're going to do is, you can see the red light on the Crossfire Nano. We are just going to get that bound up. So that's ready to go. Because this has never been bound before, it is just going to be in bind mode, ready to go as soon as we hit this Crossfire menu. Exit, sorry. And hit the bind. Okay, that didn't work. So we are going to actually find out what the inside of this looks like. We're going to take this off. We're going to actually press that button on the Nano, and then we get it bound up. This should just lift off. And there, while we're here, we will have a look at the inside. There's the inside. There it is. So here's the Nano. So I'm going to power it up again, and then I'm going to press the little button. There's a little button on the Nanos that you just have to press, and it should connect fine. There we go, one press, it started flashing, and these are now communicating. Upgrade micro, this is why I do love the actual Tango system or the Crossfire system. It says update Tango, and yes. And it's going to update, these are going to update to the right software versions and stuff like that, and it will bind absolutely perfectly. So we're going to leave them to do their thing, and we'll be right back. There we go, we have a solid green light on the controller, and we have a green light on the Quad Nano itself. So there you go, these two are bound and we are good to go. So let's unplug this, I'll get the actual bottom back on, and we'll look at getting this actually started up on first flights. So there she is, we've got her all connected up now, and she's all bound, back's back on. So we are going to connect it back to betaflight, and all we're going to do really is we're going to flash up the settings. I'm not going to adjust any of the settings at all. We're going to fly it completely as it comes. But one thing you always need to check is make sure your sticks are working correctly and your switches are all in the correct place, how you like them or how you like to fly, and everything's good to go. So let's connect her up. There she is. All connected. There's the ports. Yeah, that should be all fine. Configuration should all be fine. It's got to flip over after crash. I'm not sure how it'll flip over though, or how well it'll flip over. PIDs and tuning, I'm going to leave it exactly how it is. The only thing I'm interested in is to make sure that all my sticks are actually correct, which it looks like they are. So obviously always look at the 3D diagram, and then that's a good indication. So my roll's okay, pitch, yaw, everything looks absolutely a-okay. Throttle's in the correct place. So that all looks great. Make sure my modes, or my switches if you like, they've basically just got two set up. You've got angle mode and arm. For me, I have this the other way. That is arm for me. So let's press save. If you're unsure about betaflight, again, I've got another video. Run through that. That'll show you how to set the switches and configure everything that you actually need. So do check that out if you're unsure. So that's my arm. Red is danger. Red means your quad is armed. No red means it's off. Angle mode. I don't fly angle mode, so we're going to get rid of angle mode. I'm going to add, because it is there, the flip over after crash, I'm going to add that. As long as I can find it. Add range. That's going to be on this switch. So that for me is flip over after crash. Save that. I don't think a buzzer will work on this. I'm not sure if it will. Make sure I save that. Always make sure you save because you don't like doing things twice. I'm not sure a flip over or a buzzer will work. Will a buzzer work? Aux channel, let's set it to beep and see what it does. Let's see if it does, because a little beep from a little quad would be quite useful. Modes. We're gonna add a range. We want that one there. There's only one way to find out if this works, and that's to put in the battery, which I want to show you anyway. So those are everything saved. Those are the three that I like. That's my arm, it's my buzzer, my flip over after crash. That's basically how I fly every quad. So that is it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect it from the actual USB connection. We're going to stick a battery in it. So I'm going to show you with the battery in, because I think it looks great. So disconnect that. Obviously I've got my controller and everything set up. I know it's good to go.
Telemetry lost.
Thank you. Make sure you got your plus and your minus correct on your battery, and then let's stick it in.
Telemetry recovered.
So telemetry is recovered. There we go. I'm going to make sure my arm works. Please be very careful if you do this indoors yourself. But there's the arm. And a little beep does work on it, so that's nice. It's better than nothing. If you get close, it might actually direct you to where it is if you've lost it in long grass or something like that. So that's all right, isn't it? That's quite good. But yeah. So that's it, guys. We are set up, ready to fly. She starts, she buzzes, sticks are in the correct place. Sticks are really important, guys. If you don't go through this and configure your quad correctly, it will never fly right. So please check out my other videos. It's all there. It'll really help you get off the ground. So without further ado, let's get out in that field. So here we are, guys. We're about to fly the Rekon3. This is the second flight because my first flight I forgot to actually press record on the goggles. So we're going to go for the second flight and I'll tell you what it's like. Goggles are recording, so here we go. Here we go then, Rekon3, off we go. So we're going to have to take off about 1 minute 20 seconds because I was messing around making sure that my goggles were working and everything was correct. But I'm looking for at least a 10-minute flight. I'm not going to overly go too far out with it because I am still getting used to the craft. It's a completely different flying style. It's hasn't got a lot of power to recover, that is. So you need to be nice and smooth when you fly. Preempt if you're coming down, so you can level out and actually get out of a dive or a little duck or whatever you want to call it. I suppose the worry with this, because it is small and it is light, I don't know if you can see the breakup on my VTX, I'm not very far out and it is breaking up, so perhaps we should look at an antenna update maybe. So my throttle, see, it broke up almost completely then. My throttle's about 45–50% I'd say, because I can feel where it is about in the middle. So that's just over the first minute. Got plenty of battery left. We'll see how far I can get, but the VTX on this does worry me. I'm only on 100 for my power. It does go up to 350. But obviously, see the brake up there. Obviously the more power you have for your VTX, you're only flying on this one little battery. So it will reduce your flight time. Yeah, so like I say, you really do have to be careful how you fly. You have to be nice and smooth. It's not going to recover like a 5-inch or a 4-inch quad. Yeah, it's supposed to be long range, but I'm getting a lot of breakup. It is cool though. It's an ingenious craft, isn't it? Just one of these little batteries and go cruising on that. Very easy to carry around actually, just chuck in your bag if you want to. I've got a stack of these 1850 batteries or 1860, whatever they are. So they're pretty easy to charge, pretty safe. Okay, I'm going to push it a little bit further out. So you preempt the dive a little bit. Smooth and slow, just like your missus told you. It's always the best way. Yeah, she's not meant for loads of tricks and stuff like that. It's exactly what it says on the tin. Just a nice little explorer. That was the farmer there. He's wondering what I'm doing. He's just been out spraying his field. So yeah, we're at 5:30, take a minute off, so 4 minutes something. Plenty of battery left. See that, preempt that dive, nice and smooth. It's a perfect day weather-wise today, so it's perfect flight for this little craft. I did try to fly it in some heavier wind and it was disastrous, if I'm honest. It's so light. And it fought back everywhere it could and killed the battery. If you're going to get one of these, I would suggest you do something like this. Discover how long your battery's going to last, where your weak points are, how you're going to recover, before you just bang it out and never see the thing again. Because that's what I'm scared about this. They say it's a long range, but basically you put this out, it comes down, you're not going to get it back. You'll never find this thing again. Let's have a look at these trees. Look, there's a tree there. There's another one. There's a little bush. There's a tree. Who says my videos are boring? Look at all those different trees. So this grass. Look at all of that grass. Never seen anything like it. Look at these, see tractor marks here. What's these? Oh, let's go and look at these. Look at them. Where do they go? They go down there. FPV at its finest. Come to the UK, we got it all. Oh, look at that tree there. Let's go up and over. Whoa! Yeah, see, that was a bit close. That actually was, all seriousness, that was a little bit close. And to actually try and get away from that tree takes more effort than you actually think it will. So one wrong little step and you've probably lost it in a tree. So I've got some funky little VTX things going on there. So we're at 8:10. So we're almost coming up to 7 minutes flight. She's doing okay. What's the voltage? 3.4. It's not bad at all. If you're still watching this video or this flight, well done, because it isn't the most interesting flight, if I'm honest with you. Nine minutes, 8-minute flight we're coming up to. Ah, another tree, or is that the same tree? Eight minutes flight, 8 minutes on any quad is quite an achievement, to be honest with you. That is pretty good. Oh, a couple of warnings there. This is the problem, the battery starts going and your VTX starts being affected. So we're going to just come a little bit closer and we're going to carry on. It says 10 minutes, but it's actually 9 minutes, isn't it? Because we sat there for a minute. I'm going to push it for a 10-minute flight. I'm not just going to kill it completely. The thing with these batteries, when you're flying, you can tell when they start getting a little bit low because it does take more throttle. It just suddenly there's like a drain in power, and you just have to raise the throttle a little bit more for it to stay in the air. So land now, we're getting the warnings. Yeah, and I'm pretty much at the top trying to keep this in the air. Throttle at the top, that is. Low battery warnings. You should be able to take these batteries down a bit further, but I think with this, I don't think it's advisable. So there we go, 10-minute flight. 10 minutes, any quad is really good, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to bring it in. It's really fighting to stay in the air now. There we go guys, a 10-minute flight on the little Rekon3. So I'm going to get back to my little studio and I'll see you in a minute. Hope you enjoyed that flight footage. So I suppose the question that has to be answered is the Rekon3 for you? And it is a tough question, but I have two trains of thought. If you're after a freestyle quad, then no, it is not for you. This is not the quad for you because it is not going to do tricks. It's not really going to be smashed around upside down, through gaps and stuff like that. It is a very smooth, cruising machine is what it is really. It hasn't got a lot of power. You're not going to do all those tricks with it, but if you want something that's just nice and easy, a bit tame, you're just going to go a little bit exploring with it, so this is the quad for you. It does exactly what it says on the tin. You're going to get up to a 10-minute flight on one of these batteries, which is absolutely outstanding, to be honest with you. Saying 10 minutes, I do have to warn you, you get up to that 10 minutes and you're not close to where you are, you're probably not going to make it back. So do preempt what you're doing, when you're flying, where you're flying. So I think if this thing goes down somewhere, you will struggle to find it again. Sorry to cut in, just actually remembered something that I should have said on that last little sequence. This antenna, I'm not 100% about this. I think this should have had a better antenna than this, because I hope you noticed in my little flights, I wasn't getting very far out with this. So I was getting a lot of breakup everywhere. I tried it on different power bands and yeah, it didn't do very well at all. So there are different antennas we can stick on this, and for another video I am looking at doing an actual upgrade to this antenna and seeing how it does instead. So that's it. Sorry to interrupt, carry on Daz. So, but with that said, it is very clever, really like it. It's pushing the boundaries of what quads can do these days and what can be done on these batteries. So yeah, all credit to Dave C. Like I said, his links are all down below. Check him out, subscribe to him, and give him all the credit he deserves. That's it, guys. There you go. That is my full review of the Rekon 3. So smash that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.